story usually comes from family stories to start with. And then I do some research, some heavy duty research, family history, on the historical events of the time. And then I put a bit of a structure together, I guess like a skeleton of main events in the story that I want to touch on. And then from there, I do a little bit more research and then find ways to fill in those gaps and flesh out the story, I suppose. And then sometimes I will do a bit more research while I'm actually doing the writing, if there's something extra that I need to know about, but the majority of it is done beforehand. And I guess the most creative part of the process is just allowing the story to find its own flow, I guess. And sometimes you just got to see where it goes, and it'll take you to places that you never thought, but always usually in the right direction. So trust your intuition and have a bit of a structure as well. And that's pretty well how I work. Ancestry.com was great to provide extra documentation to be able to place family members at certain places at certain times and get a real timeline, and other really fascinating documents that I might have found to sort of flesh out this story a bit more. The National Archives was also wonderful to get great information on immigration records. And I found on my mum's side, my great-grandparents' applications for their immigration to Australia, and also information about what ships they arrived on, where they stayed, how they transferred across to Sydney. So some really fascinating things with the National Archives as well, that was able to help me join the dots, I guess, of the story, because you don't have all that information necessarily at hand. And the other thing I found really useful actually was Trove. Sort of research in the old newspapers to find out what was happening in that current day. And that just helps give you a bit more background as to what those family members were experiencing at that time. They were great. The things that I have found most useful as a writer, especially as an early writer, was write what you love. You need to have passion in your writing, and if you write something that you love, it'll come easily to you. The second thing that I always have found has helped me is keep to a word count. So have a certain word count each week that you need to stick to, so that you can actually get your manuscript finished. So you're not going to constantly go back and cover parts that you've already written. And then the third thing following on that, of course, is don't edit until you've finished your first draft. Otherwise, if you're like me, you'll go back and never actually get it finished. And once you've got a full manuscript, you can actually see where the changes need to be made.